This is great cheater fabric. I'm pretty sure it's from the 1980s. I paid $1 for it at a thrift store. Hi, my name is Lori. Welcome to the 12th episode of my channel, We Are Quilters. Today is my second video in my series about Iron Ladies. Today we'll be talking about the white Rotary USA machine that I bought at a yard sale. I am so glad to have her as part of my collection. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. Let's go to the footage that I took in Michigan, where it is right now too cold for me to be in my little cold and dry cabin. But I do have video footage to share with you. Let's go. As you know, treadle machines do not have their own light that you just flip on a switch. So I installed a shelf with this cool antique light above the machine. She is a beauty, isn't she? She was a little dusty and I just wiped her down. And there she is. The lady said, I was going to make her into a table, but my husband and I were just a little bit too lazy to do that. Oh, good golly. I paid $20 for her. Here she is, the front. The decals look very good. And the thing that pulls her out of the case works pretty well. More of the decals. They're a little worn, but not much. This is the back of the machine, and they are even clearer and more beautiful on the back and around the bottom edge on the back. But nothing seems to be missing or broken. Here's the serial number. I looked it up. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. And here's a quick peek in the drawer, the things that I kept, because some things, they were full of junk. There was lots of stuff. Here are the bobbins. 3 of them were in one of the drawers, and I bought the other 7 at the thrift store. It had a little oil can to take care of business, and a box full of machine feet. This is just amazing to me because modern sewing machines don't have that. You can buy them. Here's the parts list. The book is partially there. So it has every part listed on the first 2 pages. And then it gives instructions on how to use things. Like I said, some of the book's missing, but a lot of it's there. The tucking foot. And it tells you, and the quilting is actually more of a bar than a foot. And then the ruffler. This makes me almost wish that ruffles would come back in style because that is a serious piece of hardware. 2 pages on nothing but how to adjust and use a ruffler. That is just amazing to me. And a hemming foot. I can't wait to try some of these feet. Here are pictures of the parts with corresponding numbers to that list. I showed you the regular drawers. At the top of both sides, there is a drawer that is auto-locked. It doesn't have a locking mechanism on these little drawers, and they're fantastically detailed, just big enough. You have to put your hand up underneath, like I'm showing in this picture, and push up on like a bamboo latch to get it open. Here's the bottom of the drawer so you can see the latch that holds it shut. These drawers were incredibly cool. Took me a while to figure out how to open them. Couldn't find a YouTube video on that. I added all of the sharp, pointy, long things into one of these drawers so they would be out of the way. Bamboo skewers. This was in one of the thin drawers, somebody's address book. It's stained, it smells like cigarette smoke, and these pictures were in that same drawer, all ripped in half. Looks like happy family memories. There were no names written on the back, only things like, I miss you, this was such a good day, we had such a great time. And so I had to tape them back together. And then this little piece of letter was also stuffed in that drawer. I'm pretty sure there was not a happy time involved with this. This picture was also in one of the drawers. I love that hairdo. Love Shirley. And look at the dates. 17 years old in 1968 and 69. In the last video, I showed you that I could download a new instruction manual, and I also found one for this machine. Here is the throat plate. You can see that they put the patent numbers on. 1913 was the last patent number on this throat plate, and it has a little spring that you push in to lift up, and then the spring is on the back. This is much improved over the Wheeler and Wilson version that had just a piece of wood. And here you can see there's a bobbin winder. I hope it'll work once I get the belt on it. Because we were getting ready to leave for the season and closing everything up, I did not put a belt on this machine so that it could sit in the cold and mildew or get brittle, so I just turned it by hand. I wanted to see if the timing was working properly and if it would stitch, and it actually stitches pretty well, but it's sounding kind of clunk, clunk, clunk because, like I said, I'm turning it by hand, and it is not a hand-turn machine. Everything is moving freely. Nothing was frozen up. The treadle is very free-moving and loose and seems to be in perfect shape. So once I figure out how to put a belt on this in the spring, I will be coming back to this and showing you actual footage with it sewing away. From this view, you can see there's a dial on the front. It is a stitch regulator. It is amazing to me. And there I'm turning it and checking it out. I don't think it's working because I'm hand turning it and can't tell if it's working or not. So that'll be something to check out in the spring also. But very nice. Very nice. Nice stitches. Here's another look at the decal on the front and some on the throat and the bed of the machine. Here's another quick look at the downloadable book and the information I found on the internet. I looked up the serial number for this machine, the one I showed you earlier, and it said that it was manufactured in approximately 1883 and it was an improved vibrating shuttle model. But that's not the kind of bobbin it had at all. Then you look at the numbers on the throat plate, and it says 1913. You can't put that date on something that hasn't happened yet. So I don't know when this machine was really manufactured. Here's a detail on the front of the machine that I love. I wish I had taken a better picture. It has an embedded ruler so that you can measure as you sew. This extra drawer came along with it. It was sitting on top of the machine when I bought it. And it had a sewing machine belt in it for the treadle. And this belt is much nicer, smoother, seems sturdier than the newer belts that I have bought in recent years. And there was another set of feet in a lovely black box. This one looks a little bit more used at older. There were also a couple of bobbins, the vibrating shuttle bobbins, in there too. This ends the Iron Lady part of this video, but there's more to come. Don't turn that dial. This is a pencil sharpener that my son and daughter-in-law found. It is a hand crank one, and the hand crank does turn at one end, and the thread uptake does work at the other end. To round out this video, I figured I would share about making kits. I don't always work this way, but sometimes I do. As I was straightening and cleaning, I found several boxes that were partially cut kits. So I found this lovely box, and I put a nice index card taped right to it. I used packing tape. I am not brand specific. Here's the nice wide packing tape. This is just what I had on hand. And I found 4 of these blocks finished in a bag with pieces to make other blocks. So I decided I would cut the rest of the pieces. So it would be a 4-block by 5-block quilt. And I bagged the other 16 blocks into separate little baggies. Yes, and Elvis is here. So I just added that into my box. I added a sticky note with a piece of tape on. When I go to work on these blocks next time, I know that there will be 20 blocks total. They'll be 12-inch finished, and that 4 of them are already done. Then I was looking around my room for more things to straighten and get into, and I came across this other box. Inside was a lovely quilt kit from, oh, I'm ashamed to even admit this, 2016. It was a Silent Night quilt. It is no longer in print. At one point, I was going to take this apart and just use the blocks because I didn't think it was even all there. Surprise, surprise. I did do myself some favors. I highlighted pieces that I had cut, and you can see in the picture that I had sewn some seams already. In the bottom of the box, there were 2 of these very nice stars and a wreath, cute as can be. Here they all are together, hanging up on the design board. So I decided I'd finish this kit, put all the pieces in there. I marked off where the 3 pieces were already, and here it is all put together, ready to sew and go. But with making a kit, here are the scraps, because they seem to multiply. Did you know that you could tell the temperature outside by looking at your rhododendrons in your flower beds? This morning, it was 28 degrees, and when it is below freezing, the leaves on a rhododendron curl up and droop, and the colder it is, the tighter the curl, and the bigger the droop. Later on today, I'm hoping that I can get a picture of the rhododendron above freezing, and they look normal, flat, kind of perked up. There's nothing wrong with this plant, it's just very cold.